welcome once again. This is day 4 of my series for the rest of the month of July, called White Thugs of Hell. And the picture of the gentleman that you see here, this happens, which is really going to be a follow-up to a video I just had uploaded about the Klan rally up in Charlottesville, Virginia, same Virginia area where Spencer and his nut jobs was up there carrying torches and stuff. And you know, you've seen a lot of these inbreds, the Ku Klux Klans, carrying these Confederate flags. Well, this what brings me to day 4, and this guy here is William T. Thompson, who has a direct connection to that Confederate rag. Reason? He's the creator of the Confederate flag. You know, the so-called Pride of Dixie, you know, that you see flying about, not just by these Caucasian terrorist groups like the Ku Klux Klan and like a lot of neo-Nazi skinheads and other Caucasian nationalist groups. This the man here that's the creator of it. The same ones where you had former governor of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal, who by the way happens to be Indian, crying, talking about saying, how dare they desecrate the Confederate flag? That's part of my heritage. You know we living in a bizarre world when you got an Indian, some freaking Jinder Mahal reject claiming a Caucasian so-called heritage. Well, it was in 1863 that this man here created the flag himself, you know, and it was just a symbol just to go ahead to keep other non-whites enslaved. Because, you know, Confederate flag to me, like, we all grew up, I know I did grow up watching the Dukes of Hazzard, and that Confederate flag was painted right on top of the General Lee, named after one of the Caucasoid heroes, Robert E. Lee, and that Confederate flag painted on top of that orange Charger. But anyway, though, if you don't believe me, here it is in the words, sorry about that, in his own words. You know, as a people, we are fighting to maintain the heaven-ordained, see this shit, supremacy of the white man over the inferior or colored race. Let me read that to y'all again so it can sink in. Let it marinate on top of your brain for a while. As a people, we are fighting to maintain the heaven-ordained supremacy of the white man over the inferior or colored race. He said the white man. Didn't say nothing about women, not even their own. Anyway, a white flag would thus be emblematical of our cause. Upon a red field would stand forth our Southern Cross, gemmed, preserving in beautiful contrast the red, white, and blue. This was by William. He said this on April 23rd, 1863. So, yes, just like it's no different from the Star Spangled Banner that a lot of you idiots who was last Friday on the 4th up there cooking it up, buying racks of ribs, hot dogs, and all this other stuff and everything, shooting up fireworks, going to the flea market, going to the swap meet or to your little corner clothes store and buy your little Independence Day red, white, and blue outfits and all this other stuff like that. And even on social media, I've seen people up there wearing red, white, and blue outfits and all that. or draping themselves in the Star-Spangled Banner. Really don't have a clue. 1863. Okay? And then 2 years later, Abraham Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, which y'all know y'all gonna hear me say, that supposedly, quote unquote, freed the slaves. Didn't free no slaves. I said this once before and I'm gonna say it again. Everybody think like this because Emancipation Proclamation, emancipation doesn't mean freedom. All that is a transfer of ownership. If you don't believe me, give me 1 minute. This is what happens. Let me just go ahead and break out my Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition, what emancipation means in law terms. Okay, the term emancipation, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, I got the 5th edition, but you can find this in the 4th edition, in the 3rd edition, and the 2nd edition. The one by Henry Campbell Black. I'll leave a link in the description where you can order this book from. Which is the act by which one who is unfree or under the power and control of another is rendered free or set at liberty and made his own master. Now, according to this, because all it is just a transfer of ownership. In reference to the Emancipation Proclamation, an executive proclamation which was issued January 1st, 1863 by Abraham Lincoln. Now, didn't William T. Thompson, he made this speech a few months later on in April in the same year. So this really happened. I apologize, but this really happened right after Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Because see, it didn't get, slaves weren't free till like 1865, supposedly free, but not free, so what the hell, with declaring, well, let me continue, declaring that all persons held in slavery in certain designated states and districts were and remain free. But see, but in Emancipation Proclamation, that wasn't mean freedom. All it meant was a transfer of ownership. That's all that was. Lincoln ain't free no damn slaves. So you get out there and fooling yourself. If that was the case, you went from out of one bondage and then go into another bondage, which is the prison industry complex. The prison complex industry, in which the Keebler elf, Jefferson Beauregard, Sessions III, is now trying to reinitiate the so-called war on drugs 2.0. Y'all better understand something. But this the same thing where you have I'm pretty sure you probably got some white person that come out there and tell you, no, that flag don't mean hate. It means basically, man, it means white. It just means Southern pride. It means Southern heritage. You know what I'm saying? And no, it doesn't. Because you asking that, well, if it represents that, then okay, it's the same thing. If I fly my Moorish flag or a RBG flag, that represents my heritage as well as my nationality. Or if I fly the Continental flag, which is the Bunker Hill flag, red flag with a white, with a green cedar tree and a white bantam in the upper left hand corner. That's the real American flag if you really want to know. Look it up. Continental flag, aka the Bunker Hill flag. But this man here had gone ahead and initiate that, and then for years they throw that crap up in your face. But see, everybody know for a fact that that flag is just as symbolic as it is as burning a cross in your front yard back during those times. And it's no different than it is of the national anthem that Faggot Scott Key wrote. You know, that last stanza, the heralding of a slave, there's no place to run from the doom or the grave. Talking about killing slaves. But yet on the 4th of July, most of y'all cats are still up there. Y'all still probably go to these games and probably go to these other events and all that, stand at attention and all this stuff. This is why one of the reasons why Colin Kaepernick this is why he took a knee. This is why he made a stand like he made. And he continues to get out there and make a stand because of dealing with these Neander thugs like this. William T. Thompson is basically the creator of the Confederate flag, and it debunks all that crap that these old tobacco skull children, skull SKOAL chewing, NASCAR driving, Billy Bob Thornton, hillbilly Smoky Mountain mother suckers. And then on top of that, what's even worse, you even got some of these old buck dancing bootlicks out here that want to go ahead and claim like, oh, well, the Confederate flag represents my heritage and all that. These old Uncle Ruckus dudes, man, they got to be the first to go. You know, just like one time I seen, oh God, I hate to bring this fool up. I saw Shamu, otherwise known as the Twinkie King, Jason Fatlock, draped himself in the Star-Spangled Banner, looking like a dang fool. Oh, and on top of that, let me make one address to a certain YouTube bootlick by, I don't even know his name, but his last name began with a P, and I addressed him, you know, along with the other YouTube bootlicks as well. They know who they are, you know. And I'm pretty sure my main man, the Minor Marcus, he knows about them too, because he ethers them every chance he get. I'm not finna go ahead and mention their name on them because that'll give them more notoriety, and they ain't about to get no big boosts off of me. But they know who they are, and I'm calling you out. You know, these bootlicks, you know, they're too busy around here tickling, if they can find it, what's left of the 400-pound transvestite known as Jason Whitlock, and how he can get out here and drape himself in the Star-Spangled rag, as well as he probably does with the Confederate rag. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, a lot of people suffer from that Stockholm syndrome. You know, When you see a black person claiming that the Confederate flag is their heritage, my people, do yourselves a favor, man. Don't even get engaged with them. Don't even argue with them. Just run. Because, see, them the types right there that'll get you kidnapped. They will have you killed. And if you packing, you may have to shoot them suckers. I know I would. That's for dang sure. But there's your creator, and to everybody else, young and old alike, male and female, of my people, look, don't let nobody fool you or anything of that nature. This is the man that created the Confederate flag, and this is one of the reasons he's made my list of white thugs of hell. Leave your comments down in the section. Tell me what you think, and I'll be back.